Here we're given a quadratic function because we know the exponent of x will be 2 when we simplify this, so we know it's a quadratic function. The graph of a quadratic function is a parabola. The standard form of the parabola is y equals a times x minus h the whole squared plus k, where h comma k is the vertex of the parabola. So the vertex is either this or this. So here we're given the function. Let's compare it to the standard form. So we need to bring it to the form a times, so in this case a is 2, x minus h. Since it's an x plus 2, we can write it as x minus negative 2 the whole squared plus k. So it will be plus negative 1. So we are trying to write it in the form so we can compare the terms. So that is a times x minus h the whole squared plus k. So clearly a is 2, h is negative 2, and k is negative 1. So the vertex hk of the parabola is negative 2 comma negative 1. So h first and then k. Now the next thing we're going to do is find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So now I'm going to write this as y equals 2 times x plus 2 the whole squared minus 1. Now I'm going to first find the x-intercept. So x-intercept is a point where the graph crosses the x-axis, and it's possible that the graph doesn't cross the x-axis as well, but if it does cross the x-axis, or even if it doesn't, we'll find out now. So now when it crosses the x-axis, the y is equal to 0, so we plug in y equals 0. So any point on the x-axis, the second coordinate, that's the y coordinate, equals 0. So that's what we're going to do here. So 0 equals 2 times x plus 2 the whole squared minus 1. Now we have to solve for x in order to find the x-intercept. So we have to get x by itself, so we add 1 on both sides. So we get 2 times x plus 2 the whole squared equals 1. Divide both sides by 2, so x plus 2 the whole squared, so I'm going to divide by 2 both sides, is equal to half. And now I'm going to take square roots on both sides, so that'll be plus or minus radical half. And simplifying, I get, again, subtracting 2 from both sides, I get x equals negative 2 plus or minus radical half. So this is equal to negative 2 plus or minus radical 1 over radical 2, because radical x over y can be written as radical x over radical y. We can rationalize the denominator, make it rational, which means get rid of the square root, by multiplying and dividing with radical 2. So that would be equal to negative 2 plus or minus radical 2 over 2. So the two x-intercepts are negative 2 plus radical 2 over 2, and the other x-intercept is negative 2 minus radical 2 over 2. So it crosses the x-axis at 2 points. It can either cross the x-axis at 2 points, touch the x-axis at 1 point, or not intersect with the x-axis at all. Now, in order to find the y-intercept, we substitute x equals 0, because if the graph crosses the y-axis at a point, its x-coordinate will always be 0. So that's why we plug in x equals 0. So we have the equation y equals 2 times x plus 2 the whole squared minus 1. We plug in x equals 0, so that is 2 times 0 plus 2 the whole squared minus 1. So that is 2 times 2 squared minus 1 that is 2 times 4 minus 1. So that's equal to 7. 4 times 2 is 8 minus 1, that's 7. So the y-intercept is 7, which means the graph crosses the y-axis at 0, 7. Remember, x is 0 at the y-intercept. The graph crosses the x-axis at negative 2 plus radical 2 over 2, 0. And also at negative 2 minus radical 2 over 2 comma 0.